Malaysia's concern for the optimum development of its children is reflected in its numerous socio-economic policies and plans which seek to create a conducive and enabling environment sensitive to the needs of children. It is not surprising that within 50 years, our wisdom to invest in the education of children has seen positive results. With increasing competition in the global market, the economy will have to further strengthen its competitiveness and venture into new growth areas. This will require human capital that is knowledgeable, highly skilled, creative and innovative, as well as imbued with positive work ethics and spiritual values. In line with this, efforts were intensified in the 9th Malaysia Plan period to develop the country's human capital. The government acknowledges that the quality of the nation's human capital will be the most critical element in the achievement of its national mission. Although early childhood education did not receive much attention until quite recently, nevertheless, legislation was put in place way back in 1984 to ensure quality childcare at childcare centers. Since 2003, the government has committed to provide access to preschool education for all children aged 5 and 6 by next year. The preschool program has also been officially recognized as a component of the national education system. Its incorporation into the national system has resulted in a standard curriculum, systematic and specific training for teachers and child care providers, and a setting of standards for private preschool providers. The government has also identified that accessibility and affordability are the major issues pertaining to early childhood education. In this regard, the government agencies that provide child care center at the workplace will be given 80,000 ringgit grant for renovation and furnishing the child care center. Meanwhile, to encourage the establishment of more child care centers at the workplace, employers who set up child care centers are given 10% tax reduction per annum on the cost of setting up the child care centers for a period of 10 years as an incentive. In this context, I would like to urge the private sector to fulfill their corporate social responsibility by providing childcare facilities at the workplace for their employees. Ladies and gentlemen, in response to Permata's initiative of setting up its childcare center as a pilot project, the 9th Malaysia Plan also commits the government to begin the provision of care and education for children under the age of 4. In this regard, 20 million was allocated for the pilot projects, and within 2 years, Permata had already established 14 centers throughout the country. In view of the encouraging assessment made on children that attended the Permata centers, the government subsequently decided to roll out Permata project to government and statutory bodies' childcare centers. To facilitate its implementation, an additional 150 million ringgit was allocated to Permata. I understand that by the end of this year, more than 300 childcare centers will be rolled out as Permata centers. This is part of their KPI. Although the adoption of Permata's curriculum has not been made compulsory nationally as yet, nevertheless, I would like to encourage private childcare centers to start using it. The formulation of the national policy for early childhood education and care had also streamlined the roles, functions, and responsibilities of government agencies in order to minimize unnecessary duplication of efforts and resources. To provide continuity, the Ministry of Education has been entrusted with the responsibility in early childhood education program. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development will continue with its role of ensuring quality care for the young children through legislative enforcement of the Child Care Centre Act. Agencies such as Community Development Department and National Unity Department will also continue with their role as child care providers. Ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia ratified the Convention on the Rights of the Child, CRC, in 1995, which is United Nations instrument protecting the child's rights. As a state party to the CRC, Malaysia has undertaken various efforts in ensuring the 4 basic rights of its children are fully protected and implemented. The formulation of a comprehensive policy on early childhood education and care should be seen as Malaysia's commitment in fulfilling its obligation under the CRC. Before I end my speech, I wish to re-emphasize the significant responsibility of the family towards human development and enhancement of cultural, moral, and social values of their children. The family's role has been recognized as being crucial in shaping and developing children to become resourceful and resilient citizens. Parental guidance is most often in the form of setting good example for their children to emulate, and this is best done at the child early age. Looking at the conference program, I acknowledge that it encompasses an extensive scope of topics related to the development of children, inclusive of children with special needs. It is my hope that the participants will use it as a platform to interact intellectually and professionally. I am positive that such interactions will be of immense benefit to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, let us together join hands to chart a new journey for Malaysia and for the world, beginning with quality early childhood education. On that note, it's with great pleasure for me to officiate this conference. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.